Okay, so we've talked about how to do a flat wash two ways. We've talked about how to do a dry flat wash and a wet flat wash. So now we're going to talk about how to make a wash that isn't flat, meaning it's not a solid color. So we're going to make a gradient wash, and that is when it starts out as one color, and then over the course of the page, it blends into a different color. So you might have purple, violet, violet, and then red, red, orange, and then orange, something like that, where you have sort of an ombre effect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my watercolor palette here, and I'm going to go ahead and just add some water to two of my pans. So I'm adding water to both red and orange, so I can go ahead and get them hydrated. Now, again, just like with the other washes, I want to work quickly. I want to try to get this done where as much of it is wet at the same time as possible. I don't want to do like a teeny little bit and then have that bit dry while I'm on the next little bit and all of that, because that's going to make this look really patchy, really streaky, and my two colors are not going to blend. And that's the whole point of this wash, is to have those colors blend. So we really do want to work quickly. I'm going to take my first color here, is red. I'm just loading up my brush. I put a bunch of water into my pan, so that has now hydrated my paint. And so I'm just going to sweep this across, just like we did with the dry flat wash. Just sweeping it across, just like I'm doing that. But now I'm getting more into, or now I'm getting closer to the bottom half of my paper. So I'm going to kind of let off here a bit. And at the very bottom, I'm going to mix in more water. Because remember, water dilutes your paint, right? The more water you have mixed in, the more washed out it is. So here toward the bottom, I'm mixing in just a bunch of water. Because I want that red to be really, really washed out. It's more vivid up toward the top, right? Now I can come in with my orange. That's the color I'm going to blend with this. Oh, and that is a paintbrush crystal. We don't want that. Okay, and now I'm just going to sweep up. Instead of sweeping down, I'm sweeping up. And so I'm not going up all the way either. But as I'm moving up, you see where it is mixing. And I'm getting more of that gradient. I know it can be difficult to see on the camera, but we're starting off with a more intense red, and then we're finishing up with a fairly intense orange, with an in-between shade in the middle, that red orange. And as this sits, it's going to even out more, and we'll have a little bit less of this streakiness. The whole thing is still wet, so as it dries, it's going to lose some of that streakiness, and it's all going to be a little bit more blendy. But this is what we're doing. And so it's the same principles, a lot of the same principles as our flat wash. We want to try to have the whole thing wet at one time. We want to sweep our color all the way across. We don't want to do like little itty bitty strokes with this. We want to have it sweeping all the way across so it will be as smooth as possible. And we know that when we have the whole thing wet at one time, then that is going to help our color blend together and all of that. And if you're concerned about it not being super blended, like I'm starting to get concerned about a couple areas here, you always come back with a slightly damp brush and even it out. because I had kind of a little bit of a darker patch here, which I didn't want. So, and like I said, as that dries, it's going to continue to blend together. Yeah, wow, that camera does not like color. I am sorry about that, but I think you get the basic idea. And in our next videos, we are going to talk about adding texture to watercolor washes.